most of these coaches, I would say that they kind of like struggle with like like people say that you need to actually find to build rapport with your audience. You need to actually be able to be vulnerable. You need to share your story, which is fine, right? So a very typical story of a coach that we all see the gurus online and we follow them and we look at their YouTube videos. It's a very typical of like it always start with like a particular struggle. All right. So this coach might actually have like a particular struggle in his or her life. Let's take the PT, the physical fitness trainers, as an example. You might actually be struggling with how you look, and you might actually be struggling with not being able to be socially accepted because you are weak, you're small size, and all those kind of thing. And then it always comes with some like so-called inconvenience, right? Inconvenience as in nobody's wants to go out with you, and you're not able to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend, those sort of things. And then you finally want to do something, all right, want to take action, all right, for example, all right. And they always start with a struggle, and they always face some inconvenience. They always want to take some action, and then they get the results that they want. So that is kind of like a very typical like expert model. All right. So this is like the what in the world of like experts, they call this like the story, right? Does that make sense? So in this like story, um, that is good, right? But what I commonly find that a lot of coaches have a difficulty is that not everyone has gone through this like step one, step two, step three, and then step four, right? Not everyone actually gone through this process. So um, the reason why I'm actually sharing these four things is because there is really another way to look at this question. What am I good at already? That is that to really look at like who have you helped to get all right a specific all right result. This part of the um all right the model, I would say, is really about that how can you really identify what you are really good at and really look very deep into like that specific thing that you have gone through yourself. Right now, think about like the struggle that you have faced. Right, if you're in the physical fitness space, the time that you actually struggle with like getting like socially accepted, the confidence that actually you're looking for, the kind of struggle that you're facing, right? That's background story. That is like an example that you can actually tap on to be your niche. And another example, let me just talk about it. For example, currently I teach neuro-linguistics programming, and how I started off with neuro-linguistics programming is definitely not the fact that I like NLP, because nobody naturally wake up from the bed one day and tell himself or herself that I want to learn NLP today. It's all because of a very particular dark period of time where my business goes into the red zone. I remember that one of my friends told me that, Ulysses, why not you actually spend some time to go out of the country to attend this thing. I heard there's this thing called NLP, supposed to help people to actually overcome challenges. And I thought to myself, why not? So that was actually the start of my first encounter with NLP. And fast forward to today, NLP has helped me to actually come back from my business and not only benefiting myself, and I go on, to help people using this very specific and unique knowledge on NLP. Well, that's an example. If you actually notice that there is a struggle, there's an inconvenience, then I took some action and I got certain results. And right now, actually, there is a so-called step five. All right, step five is that I'm going to help others. Does that make sense? All right. So very typically, a person will actually be able to identify this. But let's just say that if you don't have um, that background story, because not everybody has that so-called that struggle, but again, if you actually find hard enough, you will be able to actually find the one that is very specific to your niche. All right. Just for example, what if you don't have that background story that is so compelling to draw you to your audience? Now, I would really recommend everyone to look at this, right? As in, like, what or who have you helped to get a specific result in your life? it could be a very simple thing about you teaching another person. Let's, for example, if you are teaching photography, all right, I have a coaching student who actually teaches others photography. All right, to him, the skill of photography is really easy for him. But to me, that sounds like wow, a big thing. That's a big thing. That's something that if I want to actually be good at photography for any reason, I mean, I will pay to learn that specific skill set. But to him, from his perspective, is that is something that he has an interest, he has a passion on, but he just don't think of it as a big thing. All right. But now, if we take a step back right now and really look at that, who have we helped to get a specific result? You'll be able to find the niche, your passion that you will be able to monetize. And here is the one thing that I'm always very amazed with is that there are literally like hundreds of examples. I would really say like at least 100 examples I've seen over the past few years in my coaching career that people are actually selling certain things that I never thought existed. Right? People teaching belly dancing, for example, coaching others how to do to be a belly dancer. People are actually teaching others how to use your iPhone, right, to take professional grade photographs. All right, so I never even thought about like that could be a skill that people would pay for. All right, it may not be like the $5,000, $10,000 range, but just imagine that you have like 100 people paying you like $50 like every other month. All right, just to actually learn this thing from you, and you don't really need to coach them. You can just develop like a home study program to just sell them. All right, I think that is a pretty amazing thing by itself to me. So there are really too many niches out there that we couldn't like really imagine that people are really monetizing from. So largely we are talking really about what we are already good at with the background story that we have. If we don't have that, it will really be about like who have we helped anyone to achieve a specific result before. And in my opinion, that's really like one of the best way to really zoom down into a niche so that we do something that we already are good at. So that is like the first thing I would really recommend for like anyone to do.